Hello, everyone. So today I am speaking to Susie Ma from Tropic. Hi, Susie.
Hi, Hannah. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for coming here. So I just want to explain to you a bit. It probably will seem quite strange, anyone who knows me and read TLC, why I am speaking to you. So I have been a critic of the multi-level marketing industry for just over 4 years, and obviously Susie owns Tropic, which is a multi-level marketing company. Now, Susie and I have been speaking now for, we're trying to work it out, I think probably nearly about 18 months.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
Now, Susie reached out to me when I wrote an article about Tropic. I was very critical. And I always, whenever I write articles about companies, I always invite the companies to get in touch if I've made made an error, and no one ever has. All the times I've written about MLMs, but Susie, you did, and so we contacted each other, or you contacted me, and we had a Zoom chat. I had to say I was really nervous the first time I spoke to you because
Oh, I was so nervous as well, Hannah.
I mean, obviously, I've been highly critical of Tropic, and you were the enemy. You know, I did not believe at that time that any multi-level marketing company could possibly be well intentioned or be good, and I still hold that opinion about the majority of the industry. And so, yeah, the first time I spoke to her, I was really nervous, and part of me was thinking, like, is she just kind of like, what does she want? You know, what is this about? But we've spoken many times over the kind of the last year and a half, and you actually signed me up as an ambassador, so that because you genuinely wanted me to see what the experience was, which was really interesting, and I have to say refreshingly open. I said no other company's ever reached out. So we've been speaking recently, and I wanted to speak to you about, I want to find out your story about Tropic, but also to kind of find out, is it possible to create one of these companies that is ethical? And what are the kind of things that you are trying to do? Because I know that is what your intention is with Tropic. So to start off with, why don't you tell me about your story and how Tropic came to be?
Thanks, Hannah. So Tropic actually first started when I was 15 years old. My mum and I had moved over to the UK from Australia, and very quickly we were just struggling to make ends meet. We had no idea how expensive London living was going to be. And so I decided to start a little business selling a homemade body scrub, a recipe that my grandma taught me when I lived back in Oz, to help my mum pay the bills. And the first time I started my business, my mum scraped together £200 for me. I bought some jam jars, I bought some sea salts, I bought some essential oils and plant-based oils, put them together into my little jam jars, stuck labels onto my jam jars with Pritt stick, and then I started selling them at Greenwich Market. And actually, the first day that I sold, it was a massive success. Like, I'd sold out of my little jam jars that I'd made, and that's where it all started. So after that point, every evening and every weekend, I'd be either making body scrubs after doing my homework and my studies, or selling them at Greenwich Market alongside my mum. She had her own stall as well. And actually, over the years, so from when I was 15 to 21, so like alongside my GCSEs, my A levels, and my degree, I would be selling my body scrubs, and I developed a couple more after that across various markets in London and doing events and shows as well. And I actually got my friends involved, so I paid them on commission for them to sell my products at other markets and events. And then when I graduated from my university, I decided that I wanted to continue running my business, and I actually sought for investment, and I applied for lots of different opportunities, and one of them was The Apprentice. And I went on the show. I didn't win the show, but Lord Sugar invested anyway. This is like back in 2011, and he invested to be a 50% shareholder in Tropic, and that was then the first time in my life that I was able to focus on my business full time, because before then it was always like a side thing to help my mum pay the bills, which I succeeded in doing. So that's how it all started.
Okay, brilliant. So you got investment from Alan Sugar, Sir Alan Sugar, or was it Lord?
He's Lord now. Yeah.
I get it right.
He does always correct people. It's like, it's not Sir, it's Lord.
Okay.
Okay.
Alan Sugar. And so you had this business where you were selling on markets and your friends selling on commission. So obviously we now know that you've gone for the multi-level marketing route. Why did you choose multi-level marketing as a sales structure for your business?
Yeah, so when Lord Sugar first invested, obviously the next question was where were we going to sell the products? Being Lord Sugar, he would have had contacts in various areas that we could have gotten our products into stores, etc. But around that time, we had contact from a few women who had come out of Version V, which is Richard Branson's company. And I think they saw the similarities between Richard Branson and Alan Sugar. And back then, Richard, I think he'd already sold Virgin V and they folded. So they left loads of their consultants who had a business then suddenly didn't. And they got in touch with Lord Sugar and myself and said, look, why don't you go into the route of direct selling? And honestly, I'd never heard of it before. I heard of Avon before, and so did Lord Sugar. And he had friends like Jacqueline and David Gold, who owned Ann Summers, who had their own direct selling business as well. And we just thought, actually, this made perfect sense. You know, for Lord Sugar, he loved the idea of inspiring more entrepreneurs in the country. That's why he does The Apprentice. He really admired businesses like Avon. You know, they've been around, I think, now for 134 years. They've got millions of consultants around the world. I think they call them reps. And he really admired that model. And for me, selling face to face, physically to customers was what I'd always done at markets. And then having people sell Tropic products on commission was something that I was also used to. You know, I had my friends who were selling products on commission. And so it just made sense. And when we looked around the industry back, you know, this was back in 2013 when we developed our model, we looked at, you know, Jamie at Home, which was Jamie Oliver's business. We looked at Neil's Yard, obviously Ann Summers, The Body Shop, and they all just seemed like such wonderful, empowering businesses. I actually didn't understand or know about the pitfalls of a lot of other MLMs back then. And so Lord Sugar and I actually spent about a year, maybe more, putting together the actual plan to try and make it as ethical and as sustainable as possible, to make sure that we were as generous as we could be with our commissions. So when I had my friends selling for me, I pay them 20% commission on anything they sold. Lord Sugar and I decided to start that commission at 25%, going up to 35% commission on all sales. So anyway, that's how we first started.
Okay, so I know from the conversations that we've had, and we've talked about your business plan, and you've been very, you've asked lots of questions about it, because obviously you only know about sort of how Tropic works and seeing outside in on some businesses. And we've talked about the issues about MLM, or why I believe it's not an ethical industry and why it doesn't work for many women. So, and like I say, I genuinely know your motivations are to run an ethical business. So how do you ensure that Tropic is more ethical than the way that some of these other companies might run their businesses?
Yeah, and that's a really important question, Hannah. And actually, before I go into that, I want to address what an MLM actually is, because I've been doing loads of research into this. You know, especially the last 12 months, we've faced, you know, people saying you're an MLM, and I'm thinking, what's wrong with an MLM? And if you look at the definition of an MLM, it's essentially a business where independent people, unemployed independent people, can sell their products or services and then have the ability to kind of refer people into the business, of which they get a cut of their sales of those goods or services. And if you look at that model by itself, you'll see that it spans back over 100 years back in history. You know, I watched a program on Netflix called Self-Made about Madame C.J. Walker, who's the first female self-made billionaire in the US, and she started an MLM, a business where she had women selling her hair products, and those women, you know, recruited their team and supported them, nurtured them. Even likes of Uber, they are technically, by that definition, technically speaking, an MLM. They have their drivers, and their drivers can refer other drivers into the program, of which they get a commission on the rides that they do, and it varies per country. So by definition of that MLM, for me, there's nothing wrong with it. But where the problem does lie is when there are so many added rules into that structure that make it so badly wrong. And so if the question is, you know, if the definition of an MLM is a business, as I said, that has sales and you can earn commission of people that you bring into your team, then yes, we are an MLM. But if the definition of an MLM, which I think a lot of people associate with, is a business that people inherently do not make money, it is focused on recruitment, it is focused on exploiting people, then we are not an MLM. Because the characteristics of an ongoing MLM are really easy to identify. So to begin with, to answer your question, Hannah, unethical MLMs. First and foremost, they are all focused on recruitment. Recruitment is like the number one way of being able to make money, and the only way to make money, because the products don't often sell. And what you have is you have a situation where the products are operating in a closed loop, where the real people who are buying the products are the reps themselves. It never really ends up with the customers. And if you have a system where people are buying products for themselves to build businesses and getting more kits and buying inventory without real customers, you're never going to have a sustainable business. And so for us, there's loads of things that we do to mitigate that. For a start, our entire business is absolutely focused on products. Products are the number one thing that I started with when I first started this business when I was 15. We focus so much of our attention and energy into developing the most amazing products that absolutely do sell. We know that last year alone, we sold to over 800,000 customers, unique customers who are not ambassadors. We also make sure that our ambassadors are focused on selling products. And so we have something called a hostess program, which lots of other MLMs don't have, which incentivizes a customer to be a hostess, introducing an ambassador to her friends and family in like a pamper event. And then that hostess is rewarded with 15% of the overall sales value in terms of free Tropic products. And that helps the ambassador meet people outside of her immediate circle of friends and family, again focusing on product. We also make sure that the language, the communication that we share with our ambassadors is always product first. We say always, we sell products, not an opportunity. You know, it's just simply not what we do. And really importantly, and I see this a lot, is we would never ever allow any of our ambassadors to hold inventory. And you see that, you know, there's normally a minimum sales you have to do to maintain a rep, or you have to wholesale loads of products to then sell out. We don't allow our ambassadors to hold inventory for a start. Our products are made very fresh, and I believe that the fresher the skincare product, the higher the antioxidant level. And also we don't want them to be out of pocket. So we deliver directly to their customers for free of all orders over £30. And we have it in our terms and conditions. Ambassadors are not allowed to hold inventory. There are absolutely no minimum sales that they have to do. The only thing they have to do to maintain as an ambassador to earn their basic 25% commission is to place one order of one product in a 12-month period. And that's not too much to ask. And then the other really important thing that I see, you know, this is on the statistic that I read, that like 99% of people who are in MLMs don't make any money. And that's because they're told to hold inventory, and they also have loads of monthly costs. Like, okay, you've now joined the business, you bought the starter kit, but you have to pay for your website. You have to pay for your training. You have to pay to have exclusive access to all these new tools that, you know, that we offer. Well, and also you have to pay to have a reactivation, you know, you have to have a reactivation fee to rejoin the business after a year because of an admin fee that we have to pay. Like, we don't charge any of that. There are no ongoing costs. The only cost is when you join for £198, and actually no one makes money on that. So we at Tropic don't make money on that initial cost kit. The ambassadors don't make money on that. The leaders don't make money on that. The only time that our leaders get paid by Tropic is when their team is selling and are successful. Never on just a recruitment process. So I think recruitment and that closed loop is the biggest issue with a lot of MLMs, and the most unethical thing about them. And, you know, I mentioned all the things that we try to do to mitigate that.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I think from investigating companies and speaking to lots of people who've been in them, the kind of real issue is the pressure on everyone at every single level of that company to grow and maintain a team underneath them of a certain number of people, and then individually the pressure on all of those people to have a minimum sales volume. And those are two things that you do not do in Tropic. Is that correct?
Yeah. Exactly. They don't. They have no minimum sales values. And I think also what I also see is a lot of these companies, when they ask people to join the business, it's not on the product. They sell that dream. They're not selling a product. They sell the opportunity to make more money. And they sell this, join my team and have the opportunity to make the income of your dreams. And, look at my fancy, amazing lifestyle. I've started this business and this is what you could also do. Like a business like that is never going to be sustainable. It has to be product focused. And we actually did a survey at the end of last year because we have this business model where there's lots of others in the industry that are not behaving well, and I needed to know if we're doing things right, because if we're unethical and if our ambassadors are not happy and been exploited, then I don't want this business at all. So we did a survey in November of last year and we heavily incentivized it. We had lots of, I think, £5,000 worth of shopping vouchers that we were giving away to, encourage ambassadors to answer these questions. And we also had it done externally, so by an independent group, so that, the answers won't be biased, etc. And the answers that came back, we asked our ambassadors, why did you join? And 93% of them said that they joined because they absolutely love the products. About 44% of them said that they joined because they actually just wanted a discount for the products themselves. And 55% of them said that they joined to make some extra money as well. And in the same survey, this was really important to me to understand, are our ambassadors selling? And are they earning what they expected? And are they, finding it easy to sell or not easy? Well, 65% of our ambassadors said that it was easy or very easy to sell the products. And I'm just trying to find the stat here of what they also said. It was like over 70% of our ambassadors also said that they spent less than 10 hours a week on their Tropic business. And, when I asked our ambassadors also if they were earning what they expected, or were they earning more or less than what they expected, 71% of them said that they were earning what they expected, or they were earning more than what they expected. And that was really important data for me to see, because overall, our ambassadors are very, very happy in this business. In fact, 95% of them said that they're happy or extremely happy. And that's not 100%, and I'm working on that to make it even better. But it's a nod in the right direction to know that we are doing the right things by not enforcing these minimum targets, inventory holding, monthly costs, and focusing on the products and their growth and making sure that they're doing what they're happy with no pressure.
What would you do? I know that in any business, there's always going to be rogue people coming in, and especially this kind of industry. So you're going to get people joining Tropic who are going to maybe bring in tactics that they learned or been trained in somewhere else. So there were people watching this who'll be thinking, oh, that all sounds really lovely. Susie seems very passionate about it. However, I've seen Tropic reps or Tropic ambassadors, posting these things or saying these things that are contrary to what Susie's saying. So what would you say about that? If there are people out there, are there people within Tropic doing that? And how do you deal with that?
Yeah, and there are absolutely Tropic ambassadors out there saying the wrong things, being pushy and trying to sell an opportunity over selling a product. And some of them are not doing it intentionally. They're just doing it because they see other people doing that. And we do a lot of training to ensure that our ambassadors do behave in the right way. And there has been circumstances in the past where I have seen certain posts that I've been really, really unhappy with. And we've contacted those ambassadors directly. And actually, the members of the public and our ambassadors are very good at keeping each other in check. We've got a team of 30 people in-house who are our ambassador support team. They look after the phone lines, making sure ambassadors are happy answering their queries, but also they do some policing to make sure that our duty of care to each other, to the wider community, are upheld. And in the cases where ambassadors are guilty, they've broken their duty of trust, they've broken their best practices, we have had to suspend them. Some people we've had to ask them to leave the business, and they just get their title stripped away. And we give warnings. These are only for ambassadors repeated warnings. They don't take their post down, they don't listen. But what you'll find is like the vast majority, 99.9% of the cases, the ambassador just doesn't realize, she's not recognized what she's doing is wrong. And the moment you tell her, she's like, oh my God, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I'll just absolutely get that changed. So we do have a policy in place where we don't tolerate bad behavior. And we, if anyone sees any posts from an ambassador that is being aggressive or saying the wrong things, absolutely get it. We've got our email address, we've got our telephone all over our website. Please get in touch so that we can fix it.
And I will say, obviously you reached out to me when I wrote about Tropic, and I said at the start I was really nervous to speak to you and kind of wondering what your intentions were by reaching out to me. And I know that's something that you do, and you've done it with other people as well. And sometimes that can attract criticism, or your intentions can be misunderstood. So it's also highly unusual. You're the only company that has ever kind of reached out to me, other than the DSA themselves. Why do you do that? What's your intention by reaching out to people who criticize Tropic?
Tropic is my baby. I started this business when I was a teenager. It is my whole life. And honestly, all I want to do is to create a business that has a force for good. And we do so many things that has a really amazing impact on the wider environment. And when someone writes something or posts a video or says something about Tropic that I know is inherently untrue, I just feel that I, A, have the right to defend it, and B, I want to find out what is it that they've seen about Tropic that I can improve upon. And actually, a lot of the times when I speak to these people, they just say, because you're an MLM. And I'm like, okay, what about an MLM are you not happy with that we're doing? Because we're not forcing our ambassadors to hold inventory. We don't pay on infinite levels deep. And I think that's also another thing that people don't understand, that depending on the MLM, you have different structures. Some are much flatter, like ours, and some pay on huge levels deep. Some are binary, that's infinite levels deep, creating that pyramid structure, So every business is different. And depending on the rules that you put in place, it can be incredibly empowering, which I believe our business is. And, I also get the questions like, why aren't you in stores? Well, we're not in stores because we don't want to compete with our ambassadors. And actually last year, we paid out £46.5 million to our ambassadors, who are all UK based. We don't sell outside of the UK with our ambassadors. And I find that incredibly empowering. And so I reach out to people because I want to hear from them and I want to defend Tropic. And I also want to make sure that our ambassadors' businesses don't suffer any damage, because ultimately the people who, negative press about Tropic and MLM and everything, the people who that affects the most is our everyday ambassadors. Customers who decide, I don't want to shop with Tropic because they're exploiting their ambassadors, when actually that's not the case. If you speak to our ambassadors, they wouldn't say that. And the stats where, when we asked and by the way, 4,551 ambassadors responded in our survey last year. We asked the question, would you recommend the ambassador opportunity to a friend, colleague, or family member? 97% of them said yes. And those were new ambassadors that had joined in 2020. And they, we're not talking about leaders, more established ambassadors. We're talking about ambassadors who'd been with us for 12 months. And if they were exploited and unhappy, they would not recommend that opportunity to other people. And so that's why I reach out to people, just to get their point of view, and also so that I could make my voice heard.
And I do know, I can testify that you are very passionate about Tropic. And that brings us up to the question about products. So you are a product first business. How do you ensure that your products really are genuinely good, and are you innovating? What makes your product special?
Oh, I love this question, Hannah. So our products are special, so special, because, they started with a family recipe, my grandma's body scrub. Today we have over 200 products in our offering, from like skincare to body care to makeup to hair care. And we have our own lab, we have our own factory. We make about 98% of all of our products in-house. We make all of our skincare products fresh, all of our body care products fresh, and it's at the heart of everything that we do. We're actually one of the only brands that I know of that is not only naturally derived, so all of our skincare products are 100% naturally derived or nature identical, but we're also cruelty-free vegan, and we have clinical data backing up most of our most coveted formulations. So proper data, not just like user perception data of like 95% of people enjoy this product, like real data to show that one of our serums increases skin hydration by 46% after a week's worth of use. Like real clinical data that we really, really invest in. And on top of that, we are constantly innovating and improving our formulations. So later on this year, we're going to be going Cosmos Organic certified for our core skincare line. That is a huge step. It's really the gold standard for natural and healthy beauty products. And going Cosmos Organic certified means that they also look at all of our manufacturing processes, all the way to our supply chain. And we're also going to be bringing in the world's first, it's like a new patented technology of a refillable pack, which is going to completely revolutionize the beauty industry to really minimize our use of virgin plastics and to make our entire skincare line refillable, so that customers can return empty bottles. And our new refillable concept, which I'm not going to share just yet because it's a secret until September. But all these things that we do to make sure that we are a force for good, that we're pushing the standards of beauty, that there shouldn't be any compromise when it comes to beauty products. Just because a product is going to make you look good, it doesn't need to create more waste, because right now 1/3 of all waste sitting in landfill is made out of cosmetic and personal care products. Like, that's not okay. And it's another one of the reasons why, everything we do in our factory is run on renewable energy. We offset all of our carbon by double by doing conservation work in the Amazon rainforest. We're zero waste to landfill in our factory. We do so much with not just our products, but our business as a whole as well. And not just the formulations, but the packaging, everything. And we've got 2 new exciting ranges coming out later this year, which I'm super excited about. So yeah, products are really at the heart. And the awards and everything we've gotten speak for themselves. We've won over 200 awards in the last 3 years alone. We've got celebrities and press who love our products, and we're the fastest growing beauty brand in the UK. And it's not because we're an MLM, because lots of other beauty MLMs aren't growing anywhere near our speed, but it's a testament to our products. And that's why, I think to date we've sold to almost 1.5 million customers, unique customers who are not ambassadors. And that's, again, a testament to our amazing products.
And I know from the conversations we've had that's been something that's really been important to you, been really proud of, the fact that people outside of Tropic buy your products, and that's something that you want to grow, rather than, as you say, most places, most M&Ms being like a closed loop, whereby the product sales, the companies there don't really care where the products go, they just want the money. But it does really matter to you. If people are watching this and they do see things that they maybe aren't happy with, how can they get in touch with Tropic? Is there an email address they can contact?
Yeah, they can email info@tropicskincare.com. That's our main email base, and then it gets allocated to everywhere. So they can email, if they prefer, they can reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere, any means of communication.
And you genuinely, if people do see stuff that they don't think is perhaps in line with what you said in this interview, or they don't think is ethical, you do want them to get in touch.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely get in touch so that we can be better. We have an infinite purpose at Tropic, which is to help create a healthier, greener, and more empowered world. And everything we do in this business is to help towards that. The empowered part is what we do with our ambassadors, and it's also what we do we have a school charity that we work with called United World Schools to give education days. And if anything that we're doing is not empowering, if you see anything out there, then that goes against our purpose. And so if there is anything that we can improve on, I'd love for people to let us know. And I know that we need to do better in our communication in terms of our information that we share out and our PR, so that we can better prepare our ambassadors as well when people say you're an MLM, and they're like, oh my God, what does that even mean? Which is something else that we're working on. But any ways that we can improve, as well as anything that people see that they're not happy with, I'm so open. Let us know, and I can address it.
Okay.
Brilliant. And I think the beauty about this business, just one final point, is that we don't have a big board of directors. It's Lord Sugar and I. We're 50-50 partners. He leads me to it most of the time. So I'm basically running the entire business, and I've got a great team. And there's not like loads of levels people to get through, if you know what I mean. It's just me. So people can get in touch anytime.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Susie. It's been, I guess, really interesting to speak to you and actually find out, and for me personally, over the last kind of 18 months, speak to you and find out more about Tropic and why you do it, and to share it here as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so appreciative of the fact that you're so open and you're, having this conversation as well, because often we just get, you're an MLM, dismissed. And I'm really grateful to you that you're giving me the opportunity to speak, and also just not tarring every business with the same brush, because I know that there are so many businesses that have such bad practices, and I cringe when I hear about them. And all I want is for Tropic to be different and to lead the way, to be empowering, and to show that this business, when done right and the right rules are in place, can be incredibly ethical, incredibly sustainable, and very empowering. And if anyone has any further questions, we've got a load of stuff on our website. If you click on the ambassador opportunity, there's a little link at the bottom to say, click here for more questions and answers. I'm really open to any further questions. And all I want to do, is to be completely open and transparent. And that's why I invited you into the business, so that you could see all of our training materials, our products and everything. So yeah, just want to be completely open.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, and it's, for me, as someone who is and remains as a staunch critic of the industry, I think it would be unethical and hypocritical of me to not engage, if you do reach out to talk to you, and I think, and also to kind of talk about, is it possible for an MLM to be different? And I have to say, to date, Tropic is the only company that I would possibly say that about. I do think Tropic is different. I do think your intentions are honourable. And I do think you make every effort to make the business structure that you have genuinely work for the people who are in it. But you are the only company that I've ever met that I do believe that of, and it has reached out and had a conversation about it. So I think, for me, to remain a critic, to remain a responsible critic, I think that you do have to engage with the other side. Otherwise, if I refuse to speak to people in the industry, if they reach out to me, well, then that I'm not hearing the full side of the story. So thank you again.
Thank you, Hannah.
And I hope people find this interesting and helpful.